Hi, welcome to my Full Monty show. Today's guest is the Mossberg Maverick 88 combo. A combo is a dual barrel package. It has the field, which is 28 inches long, and the security, which is 18.5 inches long. I will be doing the field stripping, and then I will do the full Monty. I usually do not reassemble, but I hear people do get hung up with putting the bolt back, so which I will reassemble that part. So, and as far as the trigger housing concerned, I will do that on a different video. So why don't we begin by half cocking the slide by pressing this button behind the trigger guard, like that. Okay, and then you unscrew this and then slide the barrel forward. And that should come out like that. And then, using a punch out this pin right here. Doesn't matter whether you push it from left to right or right to left. Okay, and this is what the pin looks like. And then pivot the trigger housing forward, like that. Okay, when you look in, next thing you do is pull out these two stops. Okay, one is a cartridge stop, and one is the cartridge interrupter. Here, I'll pull them out. This one on the right side is the cartridge interrupter. And the one on the left side is the cartridge stop. Okay. Okay. And if you'll note on the inside of the receiver, there's two cutouts to slide the bolt slide up. And you just pick up the bolt slide and just pull it up. This is what it looks on the other side. And then you can pull the slide forward and the bolt should come out through where the barrel used to be. Here is the handguard. And now slide the bolt forward, and if the elevator is in the way, just pull it up and the bolt should slide forward. Next thing to come out is the elevator. Just pull it up like this and pinch it. And that's good. Right. Okay. So this is your field stripping. Okay. So now I'm going to proceed with the full Monty, and then I'm going to reassemble it. So let's begin with the full Monty. Let's start with the front of the barrel. There is a brass bead in the front, and that is also removable. You need a hex socket, small one, and it fits right in here like this, and just basically unscrew it. Oh, it fell out. Here it is. It's a very tiny bead. Okay, I'm just going to put it over there. Next thing to disassemble is this screw that holds the barrel to the magazine. Okay, and to do that, there is a washer in here. Okay, and to remove the washer, it's actually it goes in really easily. You don't need to do any screwing, just push it in. But to remove it, you kind of have to unscrew it. So the way to do it is to use here I'm going to use, you'll need a slotted screwdriver, very thin. Okay, very thin, very small screwdriver. And what I'm going to do is stick it in between the washer and the screw. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the washer from spinning. And that is what, and this is why you need a really small screwdriver, flathead. And now you're going to unscrew it. If you don't do this, unscrew it, you're going to end up mangling the washer. And here is the washer. And notice how the fine, thin screwdriver fits right into between those teeth. That stops it from spinning while I was unscrewing it. And to install this, you just slide it down the screw. And this comes out. Okay, to install it when it's in that, you just slide it in like this. Just push it in. But to unscrew it, to remove it, you have to stop this from spinning, and that's why you have to use a fine, thin, slotted screwdriver, and then you keep turning this till this comes out. Okay, so at this point, you're done with the barrel. This magazine tube is not removable. However, you'll notice it's still rattled because it has a cartridge stop. It limits the amount of rounds you can put in it. Okay, and after that, what else could be removed? The ejector. Ejector needs a slotted screwdriver, and I have one right over here, and you just basically unscrew it. It's a very fine small screw that holds the ejector. This is the ejector. Okay. Okay. The next to be removed, this receiver is made out of aluminum. The tube is made out of steel, of course, and the barrel is also made of steel. Most of these parts, small parts, are made out of steel. Of course, the handguard is made out of plastic, and the slide is made out of steel. And the trigger housing is made out of plastic. Okay, the next thing to remove is this cap. And you need basically something like this knife, and get in there and remove this cap. And there's nothing in there. Next thing to be removed is this sling swivel for the back. You just basically unscrew it. To remove this butt pad, there's 2 screws in here. It needs a small Phillips, like this. It doesn't actually unscrew that easily. It's just that I pre-unscrewed it. Now this is what the pad looks like. And inside here, I can see it's a slotted screw, and I'm gonna use a long screwdriver. I'll stick it in there. almost there. Okay. I did not loosen the screw prior. Okay, it's out. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna slide the bolt. Has a washer. And this is what the end looks like. Pretty hollow. And this fits in the back of the aluminum receiver. Okay. Now that's basically it. There's nothing else more you could disassemble. Now, okay. Now some of you might be thinking of replacing this handguard. Yes, you'll have to replace it. You can't reuse this. If you're thinking of using a Magpul handguard, you will have to get a slide and a Magpul handguard to replace this. This, you cannot reuse this. The slide is embedded into this plastic, and you basically can't do much with this. Okay, you'll just have to. All right, so let me reassemble most of these back, and then I'll show you how to put the bolt back together into the receiver. I am back. Now, I reassembled the stock, and I also put the washer back in to the screw, and I returned the brass bead, and let's start with the ejector. And this is what the ejector looks like. Okay, and this is the bolt, and the bolt has two extractors, and it pulls the cartridge backwards this way, and there's a groove for the ejector, and this is, it runs along this groove, and then it's, of course, pushes it out. Now I'm going to install the ejector. There's a hole on the left side of the receiver in the front. That's where this tiny screw goes on to. Okay, it goes right in, fits there very easily, and you just basically screw it in. Don't screw it too tight because the receiver is made of aluminum. Okay, now before I reassemble the bolt, I want to show you what it looks like outside of the receiver so you'll understand. Okay, I have this upside down. Okay, so if this is upside down, the bolt will be like this. Okay, and this is the bolt slide, and the bolt slide has a hook, right, and it hooks onto here. Okay, so what it does is that when it's pushed backwards, it will lift the lock. And if it's pushed forward, it'll push down on the lock, which essentially locking it. Okay, and it fits onto these two cutouts in the back of the slide. Okay, like that. Okay, and then it goes on bolt like this. And if you were to just watch it, okay, if I'm going to push the slide backwards, okay, you can see the bolt lock is going down, and if I move it forward, you can see the bolt lock comes out. Okay, so basically like that and like that. Okay, the first thing you do is put back the elevator, and this part faces down. Okay, this is faces down, or you have to put it upside down like this. Hold it like this. Okay, pinch this, and it goes into the two holes, the bigger hole on the left and the right, and put it in about like a 45 degrees angle, and basically that's it. Okay, that's what it should look like. Okay, next is to put the slide back. And then goes into the 2 holes like there. Just line it up. Now if you have trouble pushing it in, it's only because you're not in the proper slot. So use the flashlight and slide it in. Now just move it part ways, okay? And at this point, about from here, you should be able to slide the bolt in. Now remember, this is the bolt lock, and that faces up, which when you're putting it in, inserting it in, is upside down. Okay. Now if the elevator is in the way, then lift up the elevator and slide it in. Now push it all the way to the back. Not all the way to the back, partly to the back, and let's see if I could. Yeah, like that. And if the bolt is in the lock position, push this bar, the center bar, forward. Okay. In other words, if this is in the lock position, make sure this thing is pulled back. Like that. You want it like this. It'll be easier to slide it in. Lift up the elevator and slide it. Oh, it's tilting. That's something new. And make sure that the groove is in the extractor groove. Okay. Now pull the bolt about where these 2 cutouts on the receivers are. Okay. Now you can slide this down. And remember, I said there was 2 cutouts on the slide. That's where these goes into. Okay. So just basically drop it in. And you have to move the slide to catch it in. That's it. And make sure it's in the bolt. Oh, it didn't. You notice the slide was moving? It means it didn't get seated properly. So it's probably needs to move the bolt forward, and now it's seated properly. Okay. Now, yeah, see, when I'm moving the slide, the whole assembly is moving, the whole bolt assembly. Okay. Once you got in that position, now you can put in these cartridge stop. This is the cartridge stop. It has no pivot on it. The hook faces inwards, and so it goes like this, like that. Okay. You have to take this out first or put this last because it prevents the slide from falling out. The one with the pivot, this cartridge interrupter, okay, obviously there's a hole on the right side of the receiver. It goes in there. Now try to, sometimes these things are pretty tricky because you get one in and the other one falls out. Okay, so there it is. Okay, now I got that done. Let me see if I can pull that forward. Okay. Okay, it's moving. Now I gotta put this back in. Everything seemed to work fine. Let me put the interrupter back in. Okay, now that's in. And now, time to put in the trigger assembly. Now there's a, notice the front, it goes in. First like this. Yep, like that. And then it goes down, grab the pin, and push it in. That's it. Simple as that. Now you have to test it first. Press the button. It seemed to be working fine. Now I'm going to just do it halfway. Now I'm going to put the barrel back in. You just basically, remember the trigger, remember the lock that was in the bolt? It goes into this area right here. It locks itself right there. So in other words, this got to go up. Okay, now I got to screw this in. Just finger tight. Okay. Now you can pull this all the way forward. Oh, the cap fell off. Okay. There you go. Everything has worked great. Now, thank you very much for joining me. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you.